Yeah, that's it. Thanks to the extraordinary technical genius of Go Giga Now Productions, we're able to come on and use our original theme music. Animals, animals, animals. That's the society we look like we're living in. Dialogue with Dozie. You got your boy Dozie Vonner, also known as Dozie. We're live, coming at you. Facebook, YouTube. How about you? Listen, tell Paula, tell Saula, tell them all. Hop on and let's have a ball together with tonight's show. Having fun, being a little light with it, but it's a very serious matter that we're dealing with it. I'm going to do my best with it because of tomorrow's TPS showdown, not showdown, but tomorrow's deadline. It was very difficult to get people that even I had a link into. So we'll do it tonight. We'll carry on and give an update of what was going on. But first, we want to dedicate tonight's show to two of Hollywood's finest and people who made their marks in society. We want to dedicate tonight's show to them. Catherine O'Hare, an accomplished movie star, and for those of you who were fans of the Home Alone franchise, she had the iconic line in there, and she left us on Thursday. And I think not too many people expected it, but we dialogue with Dozie salute you tonight, and we thank God for you. And of course, Lamont Sanford, no matter whatever role he played, like Malcolm Jamal Warner, he would always be known as Malcolm would always be known as the Cosby son. Lamont would be known as Fred Sanford's son, aka you big dummy. Lamont left us on Friday night, according to his family and friends. He had been dealing with the illness quietly, and so he left us, but not before leaving a mark on society. TV goes everywhere. That still is an iconic show. NBC made millions off of it, millions, and unfortunately, he nor Red Fox lived real long. Damon lived in his high 70s, but neither of them lived really long to enjoy the benefits. He had other shows, but that was his real show. We've heard more from him recently. He kind of talked about some of the feelings that he had towards Red Fox in real life and others on the show. But we salute, I want to call him Lamont, Demond Wilson, for your accomplishments and lifting us in a time when not many of us were lifted up in a father-son relationship. Captain O'Hare and Demond Wilson, may the good Lord bless you and keep you on your journeys. So tonight, before we talk about the topic of tonight, which is immigration, I want to give a little update on the government shutdown. The government isn't shut down. It's not a full-fledged shutdown, but it does affect some essential services like air traffic control, when you call that essential, air traffic control, and there was another essential service that it affects, but that being the top of them. And there was hope that they could reach a compromise or a settlement to prolong it at least another, I think, 2 weeks, and that is in the works with the House as they're voting on it. The Senate passed their part of it, and the House is now debating whether or not to do that. Democrats are adamant about not funding Homeland Security, the extension that they are requesting and the Republicans want. And so because of that, here we are, here we go. This is where we are. This is where it has left us. And so we're in a partial shutdown, and we hope and pray that those workers will be able to survive. We have military workers. I think they're covered, and had they gone into another version of shutdown as they did back at the end of the year, essential services like the Secret Service, who I know continued to work. And it's hard to catch up even when you get a lump sum of money like that. That means further taxed. I don't know if they tax them like that or not being federal employees. But this is where we are with the federal shutdown. The president has met with Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of the Senate. That's why they've had a little bit more success. And the way he's optimistic that a full settlement will be reached and be reached pretty early. So here we are in another, we can call this part 2 of the original shutdown. All right, I want to pivot over to immigration. I know it's going to mess up my charts. America has an immigration policy problem. It has an immigration policy problem. And that policy is not overly clearly defined. It's vague. What has happened is Orangeness has gained his way into the White House by making that his main bone of contention that America is a failing country because the immigrant problem. And what we could do, and we will at some point, even the second part of this tonight, we'll say that it doesn't have as much of an immigrant problem as it has a racially motivated problem with immigrants. The darker the skin, the worse the problem. And that's so unfortunate. You see there immigrants being brutally mishandled. I think we may have shown this photo just before the show went into hiatus in the early spring. And the original policy of the way we treated our immigrants was that they were shipped over to San Salvador as soon as they were picked up. And this is the treatment that we paid prisons over there. It was the worst prisons of the worst. Using that terminology, worst of the worst, that was what they said, that this administration said they would be swooping up off the streets. They would be getting gang leaders, people from mental institutions, crazies. Those are the people that were being dumped into this country, and those are the ones they were really going after. Well, look at the way they're walking in line. They don't look like people who are too mentally off, because I don't think no matter of violence or threat of violence would have them walking that much in line. And I hope we are not still spending our monies to this government for this atrocious activity. This was the original strategy: pick them up and ship them immediately out of the country. I have a story, and I'm a little hesitant to share it, but I am going to share it while that slide is up. There was a young man that we had registered to vote, and he was so happy to have casted his vote. It was a young Hispanic brother, and there was a young African-American brother. And there was a young lady who I talked to initially. She had not yet reached voting age. She was 17, but looking to be able to vote in time for the gubernatorial election in November. I don't know why my throat gonna try this now. And she asked me, "Did you hear about?" And I'm gonna call the kid's name. Let's just say Rafi. No, let's just say Ivan. did you hear about Ivan? I said, no, I didn't. He said, well, Coach, um, he got picked up. He got picked up by ICE a couple of weeks ago. Now, this was last year. And when I did make my way over to Ivan, Ivan said that that day he stayed home to help his mother do some paperwork. And when he finished it, he, instead of catching the school bus with everybody else, where he probably would not. And this was when the Orange administration first started. Excuse me. And he they weren't ICE was not working in full blast like we see them in cities now. Um, he walked to school, and directly across the street from the school, he was picked up. He was picked up. He was taken down. He just turned 18, just voted in the November 26th election. He was picked up. He was taken down to taken down to the detention center, and his dad was immediately notified and went down there. And he was an hour when his dad got down there with all of his paperwork from being sent abroad. That's part of the strategies. Pick them up, send them away. You never see your families again. And that's what they tried to do with that kid. So the African-American young man, we were talking to him about voting. And please, people, that's the greatest. I know I just saw today that the Orange administration is trying to nationalize elections so that they can control them and all of that. Use that vote. That's right now, that's the greatest tool, basically the only tool that we've got. And we've got to exercise that tool. We've got to exercise that tool. You got to vote. When you turn 16 years of age, register to vote. Your secretary, your superintendent of elections office will stay in contact with you, and you will be automatically registered to vote at age 18. Register, see me, hit me up right now. If you see the program later, just inbox me, contact me, however, and we'll get you registered to vote. What I'm telling people, families everywhere I go, all down your bloodline, make sure people are registered to vote. So I asked this brother, I say, so did you, he said, yeah, Coach, I voted. And before I could get it out good, he said to me, let's just hold off on the last video. Before I could get it out good, I could tell on his face how he had voted. And of course, I can't tell a person how to vote as registering. And I said, let me tell you a story. And I recanted the story that I had just heard. And if you just could have seen his face, his reaction to what had happened, it is ridiculous what's going on. So we got to vote, and we got to stand down all of this. I want to talk a little bit more about immigration. That last photo that you saw, that was a recent photo in Minnesota. We could see that again, where ICE agents were breaking into cars. That is a car of a 69-year-old lady who warned the ICE agents that she was physically impaired. She could not walk. And they decided for whatever reason to break into her car to, I guess, snatch her out. I didn't want to show the graphic videos. I didn't want to show the videos. I didn't even want to do still pictures of the brother that was killed or the young lady, out of deference to them and just respect to you as an audience. I didn't want to show any of those videos, any of those pictures. I do, just before we came on the air, the president was taunting the fact that Kristen Noem, or whatever her first name is now going to be requiring all of the agents in her department to wear body cams. That's part of the government shutdown bill. That was one of two things that Democrats were adamant about. That those agents would have to, they couldn't wear face masks. They would have to wear body cams, so the investigations couldn't lie. We had enough video evidence for those two murders in Minnesota, but to refute some of the lies that high people, such from the vice president on down, told regarding those two murders. And and of course, by the way, the coroner in Hennepin County, which is Minneapolis, found and classified that last one as a homicide. The brother that was a nurse, they classified his shooting as a homicide. More details, I'm sure, will come. So, I just wanted to thank you, Madam Producer. Just wanted to share with you what's going on. Is our mentor, Dr. Brace, will say, the great United States of America. I want to share with you some statistics. I want to share with you some statistics of a poll that show you some statistics from a poll that Americans felt back right around the 24 elections about immigration and immigrants. And of course, it kind of breaks it into Democrats, Republicans, and independent voters. And here's where they stood. There was 4 questions. This is, of course, a PBS NewsHour poll. So you draw your own conclusions. When asked the question, there's 4 questions I want to share with you, just these 4. When asked the question is, should America increase the security along the U.S.-Mexican border to reduce illegal crossings? And remember, President Biden had done a yeoman's job in basically shutting down the borders so that when this administration came in, the border issue was pretty much resolved. It was this group just came in to see what they were going to do with the immigrants already here. So to that question, immigrant security along the U.S. border, should we work to reduce it? Democrats said 23% of Democrats polled said no. Said yes. 6% of Republicans said yes, and 44% of independents. And most of these elections, independents are the ones who are driving the outcome. So we have to pay close attention to how independents look at these elections. The next question was, should we allow immigrants to come into the country illegally as children to remain in the U.S. and apply for legal status? Republicans, 14% of Republicans said yes. 26% of independents said yes. 44% of Democrats said yes. The children allow immigrants who come to this country illegally as children to remain in the U.S. and apply for legal status. That was the question. Should they be allowed, if they came over illegally as children, should they be allowed to remain and apply for legal status? Now, I just can't wait till next week to have somebody on that's, and as I stated earlier, tomorrow's impending. I went as far as contacting a U.S. representative, congressman, a congressperson whose town hall I attended on Thursday night virtually. Tried to get a representative, a staffer from that office to come on, but they are really right into preparing for tomorrow's TPS deadline. I'm gonna give some pointers about that a little later. The third question that was asked in the PBS NewsHour poll was, should we take in immigrants who are trying to escape violence and war, which is, of course, the TPS, that's what many of those stand. Not surprisingly, 3% of Republicans said yes, 25% of Democrats said yes, 12% of independents said yes. Again, for the purpose of the 26 and the 28 elections, pay close attention to where independents are on many of these calls. And I'm not consulting anybody's political campaign, but were I doing so, I say those are numbers that you need to work on wherever, and for you to look at to see as you are formulating a policy regarding this issue. The last question I was asking the poll that I'm just going to share tonight is, should we increase deportation deportation. So we deport more immigrants currently in the country illegally. 15% of independents said yes. 6% of Democrats said no. 22% of Republicans said yes. I guess I wonder what causes this disparity. Why is this disparity? It's and we could debate, and that's really why I wanted to get somebody on tonight and talk about the humane aspect of this issue, which we're going to talk about in a minute with the TPS. But that is where, why are these parties so vastly divided when it comes to issues of humanity, of humane positions? Why are they so different? Why are we so different? Um, it's just, and if you look at social media and see the social media response, it'll lead you to ask the same question. Now, I want to shift gears in the remaining few minutes, and please, even if you look later, write your questions, and I'll be glad to answer them. Deal with your questions later. We need to talk about we need to talk about tomorrow's impending TPS, the TPS arrangement, and it expires tomorrow. The TPS is an arrangement. Um, let me just share a better definition than I would have of my own, saying it my own way. Um, so temporary protection status is designated mainly for our Haitian brothers and sisters. That's what the TPS is, and there has been a tremendous push as it grew closer to the end of its effective date, as it's about to expire. There have been many from the humane community that has been trying to extend the TPS. Um, it has not been successful as of right now. So I guess at midnight it expires, meaning that Haitian brothers and sisters can be picked up and sent back into a war-ravaged, poor, gang-infested, lawless nation of Haiti. They killed their prime minister about a year ago. It is just cruise ships, Labadee, which is right on the coast, and kind of away from a lot of quite a substantial distance from the main part where all the trouble is taking place in Haiti, where all the violence is. A lot of the cruise lines canceled stops to Labadee and redirected their ships to not even put their passengers in harm's way. And and they have been given, short-term asylum in this nation. And many, if you know Haitian brothers and sisters, they're very thrifty. They find a way to work together. They'll live, many in a house, whatever they have to do. They kind of mirror our Hispanic brothers and sisters. They do what they have to do to economically survive. They share, they work together, and then when they're able to get out on their own, they get out on their own. And now they have to deal with the horror of being transported back out of America, and I wonder where we're going to send them. Are we going to just drop them off in Haiti? Are we going to send them to Mexico or some place, some other place, which is what we have been doing? We have not had the decency to try to send people back to their native land in this crazy crackdown, immigration crackdown this nation is doing. Now, the president, who everything is with him is driven by economics and narcissism, had enough sense in California to kind of back off some of the workers out there. In our airports here in South Florida, Haitian brothers and sisters occupy many of the positions. And that's why on last week there was a big rally at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport to try to save our Haitian brothers and sisters. Let's look and see what this president had to say when he was running for office.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Eating the dogs, eating the cats. That's what they're doing. Ohio has a high Haitian population. They have the plants that makes car parts. I tell you, our Haitian brothers and sisters are very industrious. They'll get out, they will work. They'll find jobs. But they don't have time to work because they're too busy eating the cats, eating the dogs, eating the pets. Maybe I'll leave that right there because I did hear something earlier today about in different nations there are customs and ways, but I tell you what, we've been here almost 30 years, hitting towards 30 years, and I've never known any of my Haitian brothers and sisters to eat cats or eat dogs or eat pets. I do encounter them at buffets, and they eat American food or other foods from other nations, but not cats, not dogs, not pets, because there are plenty of them roaming around. They could save that money if that's what they were doing. So we're praying tomorrow with our Haitian brothers and sisters. I say this and then I'll move on to the break. It's still yet to be seen the full economic impact of these ICE raids, and I really didn't get into the inhumane treatment. We've had 2 murders occur as a result of them, but the other inhumane treatment we'll talk about a little later in a subsequent show. I did show the lady who's 69 years old, who's infirmed, and her car window was broken into. I didn't get a chance to talk about the young man, 5 years old. He was just returned to his family over the weekend, only because a federal judge ordered it. That young man was used to lure a mother or somebody, one of his parents, out of the house. I didn't show the picture of the brother in Minnesota who was pulled out in temperatures that were less than 0 degrees, -9, I think it was. He was pulled out in his underwear and thrown into a car, pulled out of his house. I do want to say this: you do have rights, and one of the things we learned in the town hall meeting was, and I did know this. They cannot enter your house legally without a judge signed warrant. Your house is a sanctuary place. They cannot come into your house or worship legally. And I'm using the word legally because we know this administration could care less about the term legal. But if you got somebody that can document these things, I hope and pray that none of our listeners, none of our watchers, our viewers are going to have to deal with this. Here's the other component to this. If you are a person of color, and by the way, all of this immigration deals with people of color, people from third world nations, people from Hispanic communities, and now Haitian Black communities, Black nations. Does Russia have any immigrants in this country? Well, they were given asylum and shipped over here and treated like stars a few months back. Does any other European countries? Does any of the Netherlands? Anybody from these nations have immigrants over here? Say what? The president's wife is an immigrant. You hear nothing, absolutely nothing, and they are doing all of these in blue states, blue cities. That's where they're making their big Illinois, Minnesota, California. They're making their big noise in these states. Is that politically motivated? Is that some kind of political revenge because you didn't get that vote? I'll let you determine it. You're some smart listeners. But remember again, he said, eating your dogs, eating your cats, eating your pets. Wow. Let's go to break. Dialogue with Dozie, along with the Golden Square Park cast and other shows. You saw them list, you saw the stars, along with web building. Those are just few of the professional services rendered by Go Giga X. Man, go online right now and let them make your podcast. You might be thinking of starting your own. Hey, no hard feelings here. We can work together. Welcome aboard the family. Go online right now. Hit Go Giga X and see what they can do for you. The Toyas and the Marqueers, I guarantee you, they can make it happen. They can make this boy look all right. They can certainly make you look good. That's Go Giga X. Thanks again for being for hosting us so professionally. On last week, they did an in memoriam and they did such a great job with it. Guess what? It's time for, are you serious? Yeah. Are you serious? So tonight, we got these mega, stop right there though. Don't say anything else. Stay professional. In spite of inflation rising, prices rising, even the gas pumps today rising, crime's not down anymore, people being snatched through their car windows, old women, old men, elderly men, elderly women, snatched through their cars, jacked out of their houses unfairly. What else is going on? People not going to school, they're not going to doctors, they're not going to grocery stores, they're scared, and you still support this administration. Are you serious? I mean, what else can be done to further expose and bring to light, inform our community, our nation, that what's going on is not humane. It's not. Since there's a component of you all, a large contingent, it's not anywhere near Christian. That's a whole new story, a whole new show. It's not Christian. It's not godly. It's not humane. The way they treat people, the way they think about people, the way they minimize people, the way they marginalize people, the way people are reduced to where they stand on a socioeconomic or racial tendon, and you are still supporting that MAGA land. Are you serious? You're paying money. Farms are suffering. The subsidies, I've spoken to farmers, the subsidies don't really do what they can do by making their own profits, but the tariffs and all of these things, this is just happening. This is just not even a full year, or just past 1 year of the MAGA orange man being in office, and you guys are still in full-fledged support. Look at that crowd. What kind of diversity we're seeing now? Well, I guess we're seeing a little gender diversity, maybe a little age diversity. Where the brothers? Where the sisters? Where the Hispanic brothers and sisters? Magland, you still supporting that? Are you serious? America, home of the land, home of the brave, a land of the free. Are you serious? You still in support? Whenever polls are taken, it indicates that you, well, look how many of you have showed up at that rally. Are you serious? Oh, yeah. And then this group. Are you serious? Many of them pardoned from their 2006 sins, 2016. Let me get it right. The January the 6th sins, or the January the 6th crimes, being the leaders, their leader being the main uh, leader in pulling together the insurrection at the Capitol, and there being a chief component of security for this group. That's them. You know what they call. That's that group that can't. That the United Methodist Church has called, not the United Methodist, the Christian Methodist Church has taken their copyrights through courts, so they can't even they can't sell properties with their names on without that money going straight to that religious body. But that's who you all support. People who are bigoted, people who are dangerous, people who are openly racist, people who are misogynistic, people who are openly sexist. MAGA land, large part of America. Are you serious? I'm done with it. I hope that by this time next year, I hope that our eyes would have opened and we're a lot more like the Christian coalition or Christian people who support him. So I hate that term is even associated, because you're making those of us who believe, you're taking the name of our Savior and using it in vain, because he would not support what's happening through this leader, through this Orange administration. Let's get off of them. Let's talk some Black history. So this is Black History Month. Yeah, shortest month in the year, 28. Maybe we get a little good fortune. The 29th, they'll blow in every leap year. What's that? Every 7 years. But we're so grateful that Carter G. Woodson, whom we look at as the father of Black history, in 1926, decided to start celebrating and set apart a week in the month of February, and that month was selected because it was the week that we celebrated President Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and he was instrumental in for whatever motive or whatever. We're not going to debate that here. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically freed slaves and gave us that 40 acres of mules we never seen yet, but at least we had some measure of freedoms. And it was his birth week, and also the birth week of Frederick Douglass. As the outcry arose that 1 week was not enough to as more history went by, and they decided that was not enough time to celebrate African American history. And then Kent State University, it was Kent State that had the horrible tragedy during the Vietnam War. Kent State University came on and said, no, this is not enough time. And would you believe that in 1976, President Gerald Ford agreed with them, and he passed a declaration that made African American history more than a week, and it expanded to a month. Now, let me share with you what I asked the people of our church yesterday to do. I asked them to, every week I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it here on the dialogue also. Study, learn history, learn all about, Frederick Douglass and Mary McLeod Bethune, and for you who want to go way back to Fannie Lou Hamer. That wasn't that far back from my age, uh, but you want to go back and learn, but learn some things recent also. So what I've asked you to do is three things. The first thing is develop yourself. Go back and look at a timeline from slavery to this current day, and just make your own personal observations of things that occurred uh, from the disparate, you know what I'm trying to say, back then when we were brought over here on slave ships. And get a good timeline. There are many of them out there online. Just I'm not going to name any search engines, but you know who they are. Just pull one. Look where we are. Look where we have progressed. And then as you're looking and you're deciding we're not going back, look at that and let that help your determination. Also, the second thing I'm going to ask you to do this week is look at all of the ways that we protested and advocated against the conditions, against the social climate, even after we were officially freed as slaves and came through Jim Crowism and all of those things. And look at those things that were effective, those things that made sense to you, that were effective. Look back at those matters, ways of protest. Guess what? We might have to go back to them. Look at them, examine them, study them. And then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is this week, your favorite Black artist, a poet, a writer, a humanitarian. Well, he's not much, but your favorite movie star. I was thinking more in that genre, that realm. Look at your favorite one. If he's a writer, read all you can read about him that he put out this week. If it's a poet, read all that you can read that she wrote this week. If they're a movie star, look at many of their movies as you can look at. This is supposed to be the enjoyable part of the 3-part exercise I'm giving you. Can we do this? Lift up every voice and sing till earth and freedom ring. Sing with the harmony. I want you to remember, it will come. The struggle is worth fighting for. Thank you. All right. We told you that the show would not be one-dimensional, even if we had a guest star, unless it's a really big issue or the star is bringing some heavy smoke. We would not dominate the whole show with those issues anymore. But I want to have a little fun now. Talk a little. Let's do some sports, and then we're going to end the show looking at primarily last night's Grammy Awards. I did mention that Don Lemon was arrested, as you know, and he and his photographer, a lady, were arrested in the middle of the night, swooped out of Los Angeles because they were working as journalists in a church in Minnesota during the heart of the protest, and they were swooped down in their, I guess in his case, a motel room or wherever he was staying, and I think she is his, and pardon me for not having her name here. She's his photographer, and she was arrested also, but they both were released that same morning. They were arrested like 4:00 in the morning, and it was a third attempt of the administration to get a judge to sign an arrest warrant. That tells you just how flimsy the case is. So there'll be other people who they'll be in line making money from the government for all of the headline grabbing things that they have done inhumanely to citizens of the great United States of America. Okay, let's talk. I think there's a game next Sunday, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. There's a game next Sunday, Super Bowl 60. Been around, seen all 60 Super Bowls. Got one story, a little funny story. I just started preaching. It must have been about Super Bowl well, if I just somewhere around Super Bowl, I don't know if it's Super Bowl 20 or not, but the Denver Broncos, I think, and the Dallas Cowboys were playing, and that was when we had night services. And my father in the ministry scheduled me to preach that night. That's that's been here. There's several things that have happened to me in my life that I've been scheduled by someone who had charge over me to make sure that I'll be in participation. But also, but this I've lived thankfully to see all 60 Super Bowls. Sam Darnold versus Blake. I cannot think of that kid's last name. Super Bowl. I wish Mac and Bernard were here to help me out. Can look it up, but so they're facing off. So Darnold is a seasoned veteran. He's kind of bounced around, and likely Minnesota should have maintained him last year because they just fired their GM, who in fact was a brother. They fired him because he goes, "Thank you, Mac. I knew somebody would come through for me." I'm gonna tell Amp, man. Uh, Blake Mayo. He's a second year quarterback. I think he's out of Oregon. Is he out of Oregon? I think he's out of Oregon. Um, he's facing Sam Darnold, who was on his way to being a journeyman. He had outstanding last year with Minnesota. Was leading the division. They lost to the Detroit Lions around the last. Were blasted by them in the last regular season of the game of the year of the regular season, and then were soundly disposed of by them in the playoffs. And so they made the decision to let him walk. They didn't try to franchise him or anything. They let him walk, and he was picked up by Seattle. And lo and behold, he led Seattle to a 14-3 record, I think it was. And maybe it was 13-4. I think he reversed what he had done. 13-4. And they had two playoff games at home, which they won easily. They blasted the 49ers, and they handily defeated the Rams on last week. So Blake Mayo, his path was at home, but he played one game at home because they were the second seed. They had to play three games. They beat the Houston Texans and got past Houston's bad defense. The next week, first they beat the Chargers. The Chargers were a little empty-handed, but they beat them, and then they came back. And last week they defeated the Denver Broncos at Denver 10-7 in a second half snowstorm. And so we're looking forward to that game next week on network TV. Thank goodness it's network TV. Streaming issues with those. We'll look at it on NBC next Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl where Pete Carroll allowed his offensive coordinator to call a pass play from the 3-yard line after Seattle had battled back and driven down the field and was ready to defeat the New England Patriots and send them home with a loss. Instead, in the last minute of the game, he throws an interception. Russell Wilson throws a ball that was intercepted and ended the game for them. So it's a rematch of that game. Seattle is favored. We'll see how it comes out. It might be a pretty good Super Bowl. Ought to be a good Super Bowl. We'll see how that come out. That's next Sunday night. We'll talk about it next week. Also, we had a coaching carousel this year. There were 10 coaches. Oh my goodness. Can I see that? There were 10 coaches that were fired, and some of them at mid-season. And there were 10 openings, 10 coaching openings, 10 coaching. And I know what y'all are saying. I know what you're going to say, Dozie. I know what's the first thing you're going to say. Yeah, I am going to say it, but I won't make it the first thing. So I will say that, well, let me just pick out a couple of them and talk about them. Joe Brady, good call, probably. If you're going to let Mike Harbaugh go, keep it in-house, work with that quarterback. Great call with them, and good job. Todd Monken leaving Baltimore's offensive coordinator and going to Cleveland. He's offensive coordinator, and the biggest complaint has been that he didn't feed the ball enough to King Derrick Henry, and he did it again this year. Mike McCarthy and my beloved Steelers. The Steelers just got to come to grips with the fact that mediocrity won't cut it. I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about the team. That roster is good enough to get you in a playoff. You won't win a playoff game. How do I know? That's what has happened the better part of the last 6 years. You need to strip that roster down, let some of those veterans go. We just got to suffer a few years, bring in a young coach that'll grow them, and no experience to Mike McCarthy, but he probably would not be the man for that process. And until we do that, we're going to continue to be mired in mediocrity. Jesse Mentor takes over the Ravens. Los Angeles Charger offensive coordinator. I don't want to be fair to him. He lost some players at the end. They didn't do a thing. Harbaugh's that team was right there in a lot of games. He'll probably get that team. Stefanski, good luck in Soul City in Atlanta, because you didn't do anything at Cleveland. You mistreated Shedeur Sanders, and there's a great lot of talent down there. We'll see how that works out. Oh man, the brother here that halfway came here with the Dolphins. Well, we wish you well, man. Defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, second time around. He has a young team there in Charlotte. In Nashville. We hope and pray that he can make that work. And Kubiak and LaFleur with the Raiders and with the Kubiak has to wait until his season is over after the Super Bowl, and LaFleur he's the offensive coordinator for the Rams. He should do well. We'll see if he can do anything with the quarterback there in Arizona. Now, I just want to say this about that. If you may not can see that, Robert Saleh is not black. Robert Saleh is he's from Arabia, one of those nations over there. You know, I hate to say it like that, but we wish him well, but he does not qualify. You don't see any brothers up there, not one. Not one black head coach out of 10. Somebody made the point today, well, it may have done them a favor because saved 2 or 3 jobs, Buffalo and them. Thank you, man. Mike, thank you. You're a hero. He's like from Lebanon, and I know you did time over there in the service. Thank you, sir. That's where Robert Saleh is from. So they're saying that maybe brothers didn't need to be there. Okay, Super Bowl next Sunday night, 6:30, and we'll see how these guys work out. Hope if one of your teams is there, I hope that coach works out. We wish everybody well. Now, let's go into entertainment. Last night was the Grammy Awards, and it was not one of the better Grammy Awards that I had seen, but it had some good portions of it. Just give you some backstory. It was the last one after 45 years that CBS would do Trevor Noah after a 6-year run, and he's pretty funny doing them. Ended. So it ended CBS's run. The Disney Corporation takes it over to be broadcast over ABC starting next year. Let's look at this little highlight film.
At the 2026 Grammys, Cher probably wished she could turn back time on this oops.
Luther Vandross!
Justin Bieber took the stage at the ceremony for the first time in a long time, and Bad Bunny will have plenty of photos of his big win. Here are all the must-see moments from music's biggest night. Serving as MC for the 6th and final time, comedian Trevor Noah opened the 2026 Grammys February 1st with a monologue and stopped at Justin Bieber's table, where he called the Album of the Year nominee nothing less than a hero, or fixing our phones.
My personal favorite thing that Justin Bieber has done over the past year is he told Apple to move the dictation button on the keyboard. Hero, Justin. Now I just need you to tell them to make a new feature where when you search on your phone, it finds things. Please, Justin, we need you.
Later in the night, Justin took the Grammys stage for the first time in 4 years, giving a stripped-down performance of his track Yukon shirtless in silver shorts. Best New Artist nominees Addison Rae and Cat's Eye both took the stage for their first Grammy Awards performances ever. As for who took home the award, British singer-songwriter Olivia Dean got the trophy. Lady Gaga's Mayhem won for Best Pop Vocal Album, and she gave a sweet shout-out to fiancé and collaborator Michael Polanski, who was also on hand.
I have to say thank you first to my partner, Michael. I love you so much. You are by my side every single day in a way that I can't thank you enough for.
Another cute couple moment happened with Billie Eilish and her boyfriend Nat Wolff. When she and her brother Phineas were announced as the winners of Song of the Year for their track Wildflower, she wrapped her arms around Nat for a hug, while he planted a gentle kiss on her head. Bad Bunny couldn't perform at the show due to his contractual obligations with the Super Bowl, but Trevor Noah found a workaround, and we got a little snippet of Benito's signature voice. The Puerto Rican artist also had heartfelt words for the audience when he won the award for Best Música Urbana Album for Debí Tirar Más Fotos.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
He also won the night's big award for Album of the Year as well, presented by the one and only Harry Styles. And Cher, after receiving the Grammy's Lifetime Achievement Award, was set to announce the winner of Record of the Year, but started to walk off stage before being reminded of the task at hand. And though Kendrick Lamar and SZA won for their track Luther, Cher misread the card and instead announced the winner as an iconic R&B star who already passed on.
Luther Vandross!
Before correcting herself,
Kendrick Lamar!
it's okay, Cher. Luther does sample a Luther Vandross song, and we do believe in life after Grammy Awards mishaps.
Of course, who am I? I'm totally out of touch with most of the performers, but I know good music when I see it. And one of the better segments of it was near the end when they recognized compartmentally by the genre of their singing those who passed on in 2025, and man, they did this awesome tribute to soul singers D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. They brought back Lauryn Hill and she and the Fugees came back together, and others just Shaka Khan, you can't even recognize her. That would be a 10-minute segment of the show well worth watching. If you get a chance to pull it up on YouTube and so forth, check it out. It's worth seeing. It was Trevor Noah was good. I understand his orangeness is planning on suing him by a comment that he made about him wanting to purchase Greenland. We'll see how that. Good luck with that one. Just an overall different week. We pray for our brothers and sisters who are Haitian. That as we go into this week, as I see it, we pray that our Haitian brothers and sisters will be safe, that they'll get representation, that all of us down here, that we're safe, because the strategy is arrest them, get the numbers, and then leave it to them to get out. Have second copies of your documents so somebody can get them, make them present to help you to get out of custody when they arrest you. Have your own documents. I would recommend you have a copy so you don't leave your originals, but have somebody close to you maintain the originals, and have legal representations on standby right now. If you haven't done it, make that the first order of business tomorrow. And we hope and pray that South Florida does not explode tomorrow, because ICE was in town. I wasn't supposed to call it air. Yeah, they were in town Friday night, right here in the heart of the Black community in Fort Lauderdale, 31st and Sunrise Avenue, and they were seen in caravans going down to Miami-Dade, and they were seen in Palm Beach County in the Black community. So I'm telling you, they're going to be coming to the Black community, and Black people are going to have to vindicate who they are. So as I see it, be prepared, be aware, don't make any crazy moves. Even if you were deported to Timbuktu, listen, you have a chance to being back with your family in some manner. If you lose your life, or if you're maimed or hurt, it's not worth it. That's just all I want to say. And as I see it, we're looking forward to a great Super Bowl. And I want to see America be America where we tried to be when we elected the first black president. I know that's what this group used as this impetus to spark the anger to help to propel this guy in office now twice. But as I see it, we are better than that. We really are. We just got to live it out. And enjoy yourself. Remember, find your favorite black artist, whoever he or she may be. Enjoy their artistry this week as you look at that timeline and other things. Dialogue with Dozie, Go Giga Productions. You're going to look Thursday night at the Golden Square Podcast. I think it's 7 o'clock Central Standard Time with my girl Linda Scott and Barry Barnes. Until this time next week, we are out. It has been great.